Hello everyone, Carlos Flores back on Basics. So before we begin this video, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so you can get notified of any video that comes on board. If you have a topic, suggestion, feedback, or if you want me to give you my take on any topic, put it in the comment section. If you want to connect with me on social media outlets, on Facebook, you can search for me, Carlos Flores Jr. On Instagram, on X, and on Threads, you can type in at Back on Basics. And on WhatsApp, you can now search for me, Back on Basics. Basics. So yeah, you can search on WhatsApp, you can search for me, Back on Basics. So let's talk about trauma and let's talk about traumatic events. It's amazing, but we all have been part of traumatic events. Remember, there's a spectrum of traumatic events where it's not much to it's a lot. And in between, there's many different levels of trauma. And so sometimes when we interact with people, sometimes when we deal with people, sometimes when we see something, sometimes when we hear something, I mean, it's interesting. And so in order for us to process those events, we need to talk to people. Because if we don't talk to those people, if we don't talk to our support system, then it'll stay with us. And guess what happens? The thing is that traumatic events or negative events also compound. And what happens? It slows us down. It makes us afraid of doing things. Some of us cannot leave home. I'll say it again. Some of us cannot leave home or even our rooms because we are not in a right frame of mind, because we're afraid that something else is going to happen similar or bigger than what took place, what traumatic event took place, or what traumatic interaction took place. And so, again, we have to put in the work every day, consistently, right? We have to process things. Those are the things that we want to, if you're looking at the scales, right? If there were traumatic events, guess what? You're going to be thinking traumatic events. You're going to be thinking negatively. You're going to be staying to yourself a lot of the times. But if it's the other way around, you're going to be out there. You're going to be talking. You're going to be doing things. You're going to be succeeding in your goals. You're going to have life balance. But, it can also turn the other way around. Just like positive things can compound and you can get momentum, negative things compound and you can stop, or you won't have the state of mind to move forward, or you will be so terrified that you won't be able to continue. And it's hard, ladies and gentlemen, believe me. I mean, there's a term in psychology called catatonic. Catatonic means you become more like a statue and you don't move. And those people have gotten to the point where their stress, their anxiety, their depression, their traumatic events that they have been part of have become so heavy and so prominent that the only way that they can handle it is to just be statues, just not move, because they're so concerned that if they move, something negative is going to happen. Why? Because things have been compounding, ladies and gentlemen. We need to put in the work. We need to make sure that we buffer ourselves. The more you put in the work, the more you process things, the more you use your support system, the more you're giving your body a chance to react and adapt. Remember, react and adapt, right? That's something that we need to do in order for us to move forward. We need to react and adapt. And so those things are very important. And, believe me or not, even small traumatic events or small negative experiences, they add up, ladies and gentlemen. Eventually, they add up. That's how, it's kind of like if you have a balloon, right? Let's say we have a balloon, and then you kind of push a pin-size hole with a pin in it, and then the water just keeps on slowly coming out You're like, yeah, it's fine. It's gonna take forever to do that. But remember, right? If the water inside that balloon is all your stress, all your anxiety, all your traumatic events, or the ones that you think are traumatic events, I mean, you know that eventually what's going to happen is that more water is going to come in there because there are going to be more traumatic events, more negative events, more interaction with others that is not the most positive. And so, you know what's going to happen? That tiny pin-sized hole will become a big hole and everything will burst. And what happens then? That's when you don't leave your room. That's when you stay. That's where you're saying, forget about life. I'm not going to deal with it. So again, my suggestion is for you to process every day. It's for you to put into work every day. You know what? It's for you to be, okay, how can I put it? Helpful to others, connecting with others. I mean, the more interaction you have with others, the more you won't stay between these lines, which you don't want to stay between these lines because then it's just you and you yourself and I, right? It's like me, myself, and I. And so we want to make sure that we are interacting with others because otherwise your circle will become like this and eventually your balloon will pop. So don't let traumatic events build. If you have a fear, if you have anxiety, I mean, some people get PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder. I mean, I think I have it because of the war in El Salvador when I was little. But you know what? Other things get me going as well because I already had this big experience, and now other things can actually, make me get like what's it called? My skin just feeling kind of outward. My little hair standing up on end because it's kind of like my body saying this event could potentially be one that makes us shut down or makes us slow down. So ladies and gentlemen, use your support system or talk to a professional. Or, if you want to put a comment in here or if you want to connect with me on other social media outlets so you can send me a private message, do so. And for some of you that have been sending me messages, let me know that you have been watching my videos and that you have a specific question on so-and-so, on this topic. So that way I know how to prepare myself so that way I can answer any question that you want and other social media outlets. So, subscribe to my YouTube channel at Back on Basics 9985. Hit the notification button so you can get notified of any new video that comes on board. Again, ladies and gentlemen, don't let it compound. Don't let negativity compound. Don't let traumatic events compound. Because you know what? Eventually you'll shut down. Eventually you're going to want to be by yourself. So again, put into work, right? Help others. Use your support system. Back on Basics.